Welcome to our week 4 bonus plays of the week. We are going to do a short video covering onside kicks, hands to the face, and fouls for leaping. And we will have a bonus play at the end of this as well. My name is Victor Sanchez. Let's get into this onside kick real quick. One of the things we need to remember on all free kicks is that we need to anticipate onside kicks. So the adage usually is every free kick is an onside kick until it's not an onside kick. So if we're prepared for onside kicks, we won't be surprised when they happen. We're going to have an onside kick that's going to come down towards the bottom of the screen. There's a few things that we have to be ready for here. We get a squib kick that bounces up, and then we have a contest to recover this ball in the air, and then it goes to the ground. Things that we have to keep in mind and be ready to rule on onside kicks is number one is what I call the 10 in touch rule. Did the ball go 10 yards, and was it legally or illegally touched by either team? So basically what that comes down to is when it's kicked to you, you need to know, did that ball go 10 yards? If it went 10 yards, then anybody can touch it legally, and we signal that on the field that we know we have a legal touching by either team by winding the clock. This means the ball was legally touched beyond 10. We should be winding that clock. Now, if the ball is not touched beyond 10, let's say it's touched by the kicking team before it goes 10 yards, we know that's illegal touching, and we will indicate that on the field by dropping a beanbag at the spot of illegal touching. So we need to know that too. So we always have to be prepared for these plays to not only process but then mechanically communicate what we have. So if this ball was legally touched beyond 10, we'd be winding the clock. If the ball was illegally touched by the kicking team before it went 10, we would be dropping a beanbag. If the ball was legally touched by the return team before it went 10, we would wind the clock. Okay. The next piece of this play is the recovery of this loose ball. We're going to see this ball bounce after these two jump to get it. It's going to bounce. It's right here, right there on the ground near the sideline. So the next thing we have to do is find out who recovered this and make a decision. Was this recovered by the kicking team? Was this recovered by the return team? And was it recovered inbounds, or was it recovered with the player out of bounds? In which case, then the kick is out of bounds because this is still a kick because it has not been caught or recovered. So a lot of rules going on right here, but we have to be prepared for them. That's why I say every kick is an onside kick until it's not. So if we're prepared for onside kicks, every free kick, we will always be reviewing the things we need to cover and the rules that we need to know in our pre-snap routine. Play 2 is going to involve a foul for illegal hands to the face. We want to turn our attention to our left guard, number 65 right here, and just take a look at the action that happens to the offensive player on this play. He's going to get hit in the face, and his helmet's going to come off. And we're going to end up having to take this player out of the game for a play because we missed the hands to the face foul. Now, how do we get this foul? So this umpire here, we need to be aware of our snap responsibilities and taking care of the center. But then we also have to be able to quickly and decisively make a decision as to where we're going to focus our attention on this particular play. Knowing that our referee is on this side of the field over here, this is where our referee would be, we know that we're going to lean towards this side of the line to the umpire's right side of the line if we have a drop back pass. So as we see this play develop, once the snap comes right about here, we need to make a decision as to whether or not this matchup here is something we should be taking as the umpire or leaving for our referee, or should we be working more to this side of the field as the umpire and the referee takes care of that side of the offensive line. So you need to have that conversation mechanically with your referee on how you're going to cover this play. The good news about this play is that the center is not covered by any defender. So we can immediately default that this matchup here is the one we have to look at between the left guard and the defensive tackle in front of him. So if we can discern that and decipher that quickly at the beginning of this play, we can get this foul, because right here we'll see the helmet gets popped off by the left hand of the defender, and we don't have eyes on it. We can kind of see our umpire appears to be looking in this direction, but we have our referee on that side of the field. We don't need to stretch across that side unless there is nothing to look at on your side of the field. But as this play develops, If we had a good pregame and we talked about mechanically what we're going to look at, we should be going to this left guard and the action on him. And if that ends up being clean, then we can push out to the tackle, to the left tackle. If that is clean, then maybe come back and we can go to the other side of the line. But we need to see the matchup that's in front of us. And this is a pretty significant foul for hands to the face, and we're going to end up sending a player out for not having a helmet on during the whole play because it was taken off by a foul. So talk about the mechanics in your pre-games of who is going to be looking where and at where we're going to be putting our eyes as plays develop. Play 3 today involves hurdling. We want to take a look at this player in the back of the end zone and look at his actions on this play. He's going to approach the line, and we're going to see him try to jump, and he's going to jump over a player. And I wish we had an end zone view of this because we'd get a better sense of how dangerous this could be. But he is going to jump over what appears to be the snapper and get pushed and then end up landing flat on his face. So by rule, this is a foul for hurdling because you cannot jump over an opponent that has 2 feet on the ground. You can jump over an opponent that's lying on the ground, but if they have 1 or both feet on the ground, then you cannot jump over them. So this is a foul for hurdling. We need to be aware of this, especially when you see a player take a running charge at another player, especially on a field goal or extra point. Your sense of, hey, this could be a foul if he tries to jump over somebody, that spidey sense should be up. So be aware of this play. Talk about it in your pre-games of these players that are approaching from outside, off the line on defense, trying to block kicks. Make sure they don't jump over a player. That is a foul for hurdling. We're going to take some time on this last play today to talk about mechanics and where we watch and where we look. Not that we're going to catch everything and we miss a pretty big flagrant foul here, but we have a good chance to get this if we're looking in the right places. And we understand that watching the ball is not the responsibility of all 5 officials or all 4 officials on a football field. One of the things that separates officials as they improve is discipline in terms of visual mechanics of where we look. And not getting caught up in where the ball is or watching the ball. So we're going to start this play. Let me back it up to the start. We're going to start talking about this play with just our basic formation, right? We got 2 receivers to the top, so our back judge is going to be out here. Our head line judge will be on the number 2 receiver. Our line judge has this wide receiver here. And then we have 2 backs that are unaccounted for that will have to figure out what to cover if they end up going into a route. We have our referee who's looking at snap through quarterback and false starts back here. We have our umpire who's looking at the snap and covering guard, center, guard, at least initially until this play develops to one side or the other. So if we know our initial responsibilities, then we can start to work the play as it develops. So I'm going to play it out for a couple of beats. We see we have a pulling guard that comes from the right side of the line is going to come across the formation. So once we see that, that's a good indicator for us that we know where this play is going to go, right? Referee should recognize that that guard is coming across and be ready for action on this tackle here, okay? And be an umpire, when you see that guard pull across, you should be initially focusing right here. Our line of scrimmage official may or may not see that guard pull, but if he reads his snap and his tackle, he's going to see active blocking right here. So he may start reading run a lot sooner than he reads pass. Our line of scrimmage official out here, if they see snap and tackle and they see that block, they may be thinking pass. They may not be sure exactly what it is yet, but they're going to hold that line and they're going to wait to see how this play develops. So we're going to let it develop here, and at this point we know we clearly have a run to the left side. Our umpire, I'll back it up a little bit, our umpire should be looking at the left side of the line. We have a double team block happening here. We're going to have a trap block happening right there, so that our umpire should be able to see what's happening right here. That double team block shouldn't take our attention too much because a double team is not worth that much attention, but we should be looking at that kick out trap block right here. As the umpire, we should be looking at that particular block right there. Our line of scrimmage official on this side appears to be looking at that same block right there, which, good job, he's seen what's presented to him in front of there. But once that block is cleared, our line of scrimmage official needs to get to the next level and work the next block. So as this block clears, he needs to move up and start working this block right here, right in front of the running back. This is our running back heading this direction, and this is the block we need to be able to see. Our umpire now should be on this block right here. That's the next block of consequence as the runner is breaking through. So once you've cleared this trap block, umpire need to get our eyes up here. Back judge, what are we doing this whole time? Just standing there looking pretty? Nope, we have work to do too. Our initial responsibilities are not pressed, so that means we can cheat inside and look at what's going on inside here. So as this play starts, we never really even have to get out to our initial responsibility. We should be inside and being able to help on blocks on the inside. So as this play comes through, what gets our attention is going to be this block right here. That is what our back judge should be looking at. That is the block of consequence right there. Our umpires should be on it as well. So we have this play covered at the point of attack. What I'm worried about is off the ball. We have our headline judge and we have our referee back here. What are they looking at? So as this play starts, our referee can take that right tackle, clear that block, recognize that you have a run play away from you. So now we know we're going to have to clear backside of the play. Same thing with our headline judge up top. We're going to need to clear the backside of the play. So once this play gets to here, now as an opposite side line of scrimmage official, I'm going to be looking in here. I'm going to be looking for bad actors behind the play. People doing cheap stuff. People, lying on other people, pulling them to the ground, just bad stuff. Maybe stuff that doesn't rise to the level of foul, but stuff that I can see that if it does rise, I can penalize it, or I can at least go talk to the players and the coaches about what's happening behind the play. Not necessarily flag worthy, but definitely worth attracting attention. Same thing with our referee. Our referee can start cleaning up action back here behind the pile and see what's going on there. So we have that's when I talk about, really, really good officials that have improved their visual mechanics know that this ball doesn't matter at this point. We need to look off ball and see what's happening off ball. So here we go. Play is broken through, and we have a player out in the open running in front. Our line of scrimmage official on this side, our line judge, is now going to have to work ahead because they're going to have to rule sideline and potential fumble. Our back judge is going to have to get to the goal line because obviously that's where they need to be when the ball crosses. Make sure the runner does not fumble before he reaches the goal line. We want to make sure that we're thinking about those things as this play breaks. After there's really not much to work. This back judge can work this potential matchup here, and our line of scrimmage official can also work that potential matchup or this one back here if it develops into anything. So who's watching all this action back here? Our umpire needs to be working backside of this play. They have no business looking at the ball, so if we see how this play develops, our umpire picks that block up in front, and our umpire really should be cleaning up in this area right here. Right now our umpire is watching the ball go to the end zone. That's not where we need you looking. We need our umpire looking in this area right here. Our backside line of scrimmage official can be looking back here, and our referee can be looking back here. We should have the backside of this play covered by 6 eyes, 3 officials, and the scoring portion of this play should be covered by our back judge at the goal line and our line of scrimmage if it gets close to the sideline, but our line of scrimmage on this side should be watching that matchup there. So this play should be pretty well covered. Okay? Unfortunately, we don't do a good job of that on this play. We're going to have a foul that happens behind the play, and I'll point it out to you as it happens. Right here. The action between these 2 players right here. Let me back it up so you can see what happens. This starts as a regular block and de-escalates into a punching match where we have the defensive player punch and knock down the offensive player, and then try to lie down on top of him and jump on top of him, and that player looks like they are out, and we miss this. This is a flagrant foul for fighting. We should have eyes on this, and if we're looking away from the ball, if we're looking at action that is not pertinent to the play, if we're looking in places where we can find work, we should be able to get this. I don't think this line of scrimmage official has responsibility for it. They're working this runner breaking through and blocks here. Our back judge has goal line and blocks here and blocks down here. Our umpire needs to have eyes back here. Backside official, I don't know that you can see across to see how it starts, develops, and finishes, but you should be in this area here, and our referee should be right here. But we shouldn't miss this. We do. Unfortunate that we miss it, but we need to have better visual mechanics and understanding of where plays are developing and where we need to look so that we don't miss these types of plays. This is pretty egregious by this defensive player. I'll let you see it one last time. He hits him twice, once in front, once in back, and then he jumps on top of him when he's on the ground. And we can see this player is seriously hurt and down on the ground. Talk about where we're going to look. Talk about how we're going to cover plays that come our way and how we cover plays that go away from us. And always be looking to clean up plays. If you're not on the side of the play, if the play is going away from you, clean up behind the play. You never know what you might see if you start looking.